The last surviving dinosaur, the TyrantoCrankaTsuris. It is in hardback, but it's being read off the computer on a PDF. It was written by Stephen Joseph and illustrated by Andy Case. It's published by Mascot Books. What's this story about? Oh, let's find out. Tsuris! Oi, Tsuris! Tsuris is a Yiddish word for problems. Now, when I say problems, I'm not talking about minor daily inconveniences. I'm talking about major life-changing traumatic events that have brought on such suffering that has never been experienced by anyone since the beginning of time, and something you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy. Consider the difference of these two statements. I have this problem. And now, oi, I said, Tsuris, oi, oi, oi. I grew up in a home in the Bronx. And like many other homes in my neighborhood, all my relatives love to get together and start talking about their Tsuris. Oh, you think you have Tsuris? If I had your Tsuris, I'd be doing cartwheels. Nobody can outdo my Tsuris. We all kvetched, which means complaining about your Tsuris, with a huge sense of pride. For us, it was as if we were training for the Tsuris Olympics. Only one of us could get the gold. I got a headache. Oh, I've broken my foot. My oven is blown up. My dog is eating my homework. My fridge is leaking. Here are three relatives in a typical home in the Bronx. How are you doing, Aunt Sadie? I'm okay, but after the doctor got the warts off my feet, the nails came off with them. My second cousin Dottie would chime in, I'd be happy with no nails. I got warts removed, but they were replaced by green fungus between my toes. I'm talking about a forest growing on my feet. Aunt Ruthie chimed in and exclaimed, Oi! But you both did not go through what I went through. I was in Florida and got bit by an alligator, and this is what I got. I'm turning into a reptile. On the other side of the room, the men would talk. How are you doing, Uncle Marty? I could be better. For years I had this terrible dandruff problem and nothing helped. It turned out it was lice. I'm a walking plague. My cousin Whiny would interrupt. Don't talk to me about lice. I got ticks, deer ticks. Only I could get deer ticks in Brooklyn. Uncle Schmooky, with his booming voice, always grabbed the gold. I take lice and ticks in a heartbeat. I got back from the doctor and I have an inoperable brain tumor. The doctor says it's not life-threatening, but they had to put a metal plate around it to keep it from growing. Now I can't fly airplanes. They think I am carrying a bomb inside my head. All the Tsuris training prepared me very well when I became a father. The first time my daughter had a temper tantrum, I put her in the timeout and told her that when she was done, I would tell her the real story about how all dinosaurs went extinct. When her timeout was over, she said, I'm ready for the story, Daddy, but you said that all dinosaurs are extinct. That's not what I learned in school. It's true. One little dinosaur survived, and even though she was the tiniest, smallest dinosaur, She was the most dangerous of all. Believe it or not, all humans are descendants from this one tiny dinosaur. She was called the TyrantoCrankaTsuris. The TyrantoCrankaTsuris was the smallest dinosaur on the planet, and all the other dinosaurs made fun of her because of her size. All the other dinosaurs would like to brag about how tough they were. "I eat an entire forest with one bite," one said. "My teeth are so big, they're the size of an entire forest," the second exclaimed. "I've lost my teeth with an entire forest," boasted the third. And they laughed at the little TyrantoCrankaTsuris until one day the little TyrantoCrankaTsuris got really mad and let out the biggest, loudest TyrantoCrankaTsuris. "I had bad warts on my toes, but they came off, and my toenails came off with them, and all the fungus on my feet grew into the size of an entire forest. I went to Florida to soak my feet in the ocean, and an alligator bit off the feet forest, but in my feet too. It hurt so much." And with that Crankasaurus, the whole planet shook and went dark. But the TyrantoCrankaTsuris would not stop. "And I thought I had bad dandruff, but it was really nice. And then I found out I had deer ticks, even though deers don't exist yet. And I can't get the deer ticks to remove because of a brain tumor. And if they try to remove the deer ticks, my brain would splatter all over my head and hurt even worse." She went on and on and on, cranking out the Tsuris until all the bigger, badder dinosaurs had vanished. Oh, there was one dinosaur that was immune to the Crankasaurus. It was another tiny dinosaur, the TyrantoCrankaTsuris. And when the TyrantoCrankaTsuris arrived from Florida with the alligator, they fell in love and lived crankily and quetchily ever after. Millions of years later, these last two dinosaurs evolved into humans. Before, you were getting a bit cranky and quetchy. That's the part of us we inherited from the TyrantoCrankaTsuris and the TyrantoCrankaTsuris. Even Mommy and Daddy can be a Crankasaurus and Quetchasaurus sometime. "You need to be careful with this power," I told my daughter. "Remember, all the other dinosaurs went extinct because the TyrantoCrankaTsuris just would not stop. So we learned to be careful not to express our inner TyrantoCrankaTsuris or TyrantoCrankaTsuris too often, just to ride them out to keep the planet happy and not too cranky." The end.